Hello and welcome to Sean's Arcade. I'm shouting. Hello and welcome to Sean's Arcade. This is episode number 8, I think. And over here on my right, we have our extinguished guest left, Mr. Victor Marlin. Right, Vic?
I've got a tiny hand
He's got a tiny hand.
Hello everyone, how you doing?
Right, today we are talking about podcasting because we are both on the very, very good Ten Pence Arcade Podcast.
I haven't got the t-shirt on. Incidentally, this is exactly how much I'm getting paid for this, by the way.
Yes, and not a lot. Out of my coffers. Is that a word? Coffers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, so we are doing the Ten Pence Arcade Podcast YouTube video. You can see I don't edit these or anything, do you, Vic?
Yeah.
But it all adds to the fun, doesn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
So, right, in 2014, is it 2014? It was, wasn't it? January 2014, I looked it up.
Good.
It was a dark and dusty, windy night, and there was nothing in the radio airwaves.
Is that the start of Wuthering Heights? Am I Kathy or Heathcliff in this scenario?
Heathcliff's a cat, isn't it? No.
Just a minute, I need a slapping stick. When you go off subject, I can just...
That's going to be a lot though, Vic. Yeah, so 2014, Vic started... I've got some questions here.
Okay,
I can do like an interview, can't I?
We could do that.
Yeah, right, so why in 2014 did you start a podcast?
Well, I used to listen to the No Quarter podcast, which is really, really good. It stopped ages ago, and I loved it. And I thought, there's not a UK-based podcast, and because I was part of the UK VAC and also Jammer Plus at the time, I thought, we need a UK-based one. And I thought, instead of just doing random games or random popular games, we should do perhaps slightly more obscure games, because at the time I used to listen to another podcast called Retro Obscura, but I don't think it goes anymore. And we started doing sort of slightly odd games. I think the first game we did was Pirate Ship Higgamaroo, which no one really heard of before.
No Quarter? Weren't you inspired by No Quarter?
I said that at the start.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to this back.
You have to edit this bit out.
Okay then.
Pillock.
I was drifting off then. I was thinking that we're going to have bacon, aren't we? I was drifting off.
Do you want to start again?
Not really. Just carry on. This is gold.
And I started the podcast with Alex, Nintendo Arcade, who used to be called Chucky Egg back at the time. Alex lived near me, so we could actually do the podcast face to face. And we had very little experience. If you ever listen to the first few, they're a bit rough. The content's okay, but they're a bit rough. And we used to do them every 2 weeks as well, which was too much because we didn't have enough time to play the games, do the research, do the news and everything else. But that was why I started it, to sort of get a UK based one, because there's a big fan base in the UK of arcade games.
Yeah, and then Alex started, he wanted to branch out and do his Nintendo Arcade YouTube channel, so that's a big success.
Yeah.
And so I started, what did I start doing? I started sending I started putting putting my own scores in before there was a scoreboard, and sending you images that you could use.
Yeah, so you started off the scores basically.
Yeah.
And I used to get annoyed every time you used to beat me, and then the thing came about with when I would beat you in a score, it was like, in your face, Holly, and that sort of took on. And then when Alex stopped doing it, because he had a lot of going on at the time, he was doing his martial arts, he's big into karate or judo, I can't remember.
Yeah, he's saying last night.
Yeah, he was really into that at the time, and he had other things going on, and the Nintendo Arcade YouTube channel, because he's big into Nintendo, and he did all that, and that just went crazy. So I had to get another host, and unfortunately, the bottom of the barrel, you were there, so you offered to do it, and that's how we keep doing it from now on.
Yeah, so I started in 2014, and then we carried it on from there. And I thought, right, I'm going to tick this off. Why?
We've covered why.
Right, and the next one is when, 2014.
Yes.
Who?
To this day.
Excuse me. Who? That's us two.
That's us two.
So it's still going to this day.
We've had a few guests on though, haven't we? And we've had a few guest reporters. We've had a few guest presenters when I've been away, or you were away for a little period of time, weren't you? I had some guests on then.
Yeah.
But you're back with a vengeance.
And also, I think we keep it. I think to do a good podcast, you need to keep it fresh. So introduce new stupid thing, new interesting
Factual and features.
categories, and we're doing the mastermind quiz at the minute, and we do,
Which you love.
yeah, I'm not very good at quizzes.
I love them.
Or thinking.
Yeah.
And that. But we're doing biscuit review because we're mad on biscuits, and whenever we went to an event, we get loads of biscuits given us. We used to, but there's no events anymore, but they're happening. Oh, I got some biscuits, Vic, from.
So did I.
I
didn't tell you about them.
From Play Blackpool, and I ate them.
Oh yeah,
But
you
they
owe
were
me for those.
They're really nice, though.
I got some from Jimmy the other night. Cheers,
Did
Jim.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're in my car.
So you've not eaten them yet?
No, you're not having them.
I am.
Forget it.
Where's your car keys?
No.
It's over there. Right, I've done that one.
Mm-hmm.
How?
How?
That's a silly. I've got the 5 W's and an H.
This is research.
Why? When? Who? Where? Where?
Well, you live in Blackburn in the north of England, and I used to live in London, and now I live in Glasgow in Scotland. So we do it remotely. I've given
Apart from now,
we can explain why. There was a thing on an arcade club last night where the UK VACers all met for the first time in a few years because of the COVIDs, and it was a great event. It wasn't really an event; it's just a meet-up, really, wasn't it?
yeah, UK VAC stands for UK Video Arcade Collectors.
Yes, which we are both part of.
I want to do a video of that. It started in 1997. I was looking back on them, just via email and like just like web chats, and then I think the forum started. I'm gonna have to check my facts because I'm big on facts, Vic, you know that.
Yeah, and spreadsheets.
And spreadsheet. I love a spreadsheet. We could do a spreadsheet about this before I release it. What was I saying?
I don't know.
Yeah. I think
I wasn't listening.
I think the forum started in 1999.
Yes.
And it's still going today. And I met a couple of the old school people and people I already knew and new people. They're not new people. They're people new to me. They're not new like babies, like just been born.
I'm reaching for it, Sean, and I will hit you with it.
That's my back scratcher. That. Everyone needs a back scratcher. They're just awesome.
Be a bum scratcher.
No.
I was using that for one. Sorry.
Oh, I might need to go in the wash.
Grim.
Might need to.
I'm going to beat you with it.
Might need to bleach.
Just a minute. We've both gone off subject now.
What's the subject?
Where? So, as we were talking about an hour and a half ago about this,
Yeah.
I'm up in Scotland now, so we do it remotely. We used to use Skype and a voice recorder, and we could see each other as well, which is quite handy when you're talking, so you know when to stop talking and when the other person's talking, etc., etc. But Skype is terrible. I've lent you sort of on a permanent loan a MacBook Air because I've got a new one now, and that's got FaceTime on it. So we're going to try it with FaceTime.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll be a bit better. But yeah, we do it remotely. Like a lot of people do it. They do remotely.
I do actually quite like that Mac. You know,
It's good.
I've not been anti-Apple. I just think they're like
They are expensive, but they're worth it.
very
I think.
expensive. But I like the operating system. I'm gonna. I was using it. You know, you call it something your daily driver, like your phone and that. I've been when I'm sitting in the front room, I just use the Mac because it's nice and light. The keyboard's nice, so that's good. It's good.
I'm glad of that.
Yeah.
What's your next question?
I don't know. How? We've
How?
done where? How?
We sort of covered that a minute ago. Well,
Yeah.
we both use Mac computers now. It doesn't matter. You can do it on any kind of computer, really. We have like a voice recorder, a piece of software called Piezo, which is quite good. It records any sort of app you're using, like Skype or FaceTime, whatever. And I usually do the editing. I edit in some silly sounds, some sound effects, some music now and again. We've got little bumpers between each section.
That's a good thing. Split it up so people can sort of skip if they think we're talking rubbish. Me mostly, and yeah, we've got a timestamp, haven't we, on the website?
I'm not sure how many people use that, but I suppose it's handy if you just want to quickly jump to the game review, because we review a game every month.
That's what we
do. The main part of it, isn't it?
That is the main part. The main part I forgot.
And we do the game review. So throughout the month, we put out to listeners on Twitter and sort of other socials. Also tell them at the end of the podcast which game we're going to be playing for the next month. So we do the game. We do some research on it. We find out some facts about it. We see how much the PCB costs, for instance, if it had a dedicated cabinet, all that sort of stuff. You know, what processors it used. Sometimes we do some hardware on it, and we play the game. So then we do the review on the game. And then obviously we try and beat each other's scores, and listeners send in their scores, which is quite fun as well. And quite fun in a way where we do get people involved. but I'm always way down the list now. Whereas was me and Alex is really good at some games. I used to beat him quite a bit, and then you came in and ruined it and beat me on everything.
We get 45 players, which is great for a little game.
It is, it's lovely.
And that when we review it, it allows us to go really deep into the mechanics of the game and the graphics and the sound, and it's called deep diving, isn't it?
But sometimes
like jumping off a big deep dive into stuff, and you can get so much more information. That's a good thing about arcade games, kids. The best ones look very easy, that you get into them, and then there's layers and layers and layers of complexity underneath,
or sometimes not,
or there could be crap. But one of my favourites that I've discovered in the last couple of years is called Mouser.
Oh yeah, Mouser was a great game.
Yeah,
I was just going to get onto that.
It's a bit of a Marmite one, but it's something that I just discovered, and I got more and more into it, and then you learn the levels, and then you really learn the levels, and then you become an expert at the levels.
And you get a world record.
I've got a world record on Mouser.
You did really good at that.
I beat my own world record.
But the thing is, as well,
you know what happens.
Sometimes the game isn't good. I'll really hate a game, and you'll like it, for instance, or the other way around. And then you tend not to. It's a bit lazy, really. It's a bit unprofessional. But we didn't say we were professionals. But sometimes we just hate a game, and then we won't really do much on it, and it's not that much of an interest to us. You sort of lose a bit. We do try. You always say put an hour into it.
Put an hour.
Play it for an hour
to feel the power. I've just made that up.
Power.
We can use that now.
We also found doing the podcast that we found this phenomenon called the 10 pence effect. So sometimes you think, oh, that game I used to play as a kid, I used to love that game, it's brilliant, and you play it for an hour, or you play it for a whole month on and off, and you end up hating it. Or the other way around, you think, oh, I never used to like that game. For instance, the last but one game we did was a game called Frenzy, which is by Stern Electronics. It was like the follow-up to Berserk, which is a really famous game.
I'm going berserk.
And I used to play Berserk quite a lot as a kid, and I used to love Berserk, and I bought this FPGA board which plays Berserk and Frenzy because it's similar hardware, and I never used to play Frenzy on it at all because Frenzy always seemed quite hard, and I sort of wrote it off. And then when we did it for the challenge, I'm going to get into this, and I learned how to play the game properly. I really enjoyed it, and it was like the 10 pence effect. It was a game I thought, I wrote that off, and then I really like it, and I play it all the time now.
But it can be the opposite. A game you really thought you enjoyed,
yeah,
and then you could find it's like pants.
Yeah, it's horrible. And some of the games who have had that effect on it, where I think they're really good. Like I played a game at a convention in America, and it was on quite a unique cabin. I've never seen it before, Lazarian. And I really liked it. And I said, we got to play that for the podcast. And everyone hated it, and in the end, I had to admit, I kind of hated it as well. It's rubbish.
Yeah, it looked alright.
I think it's because it was rare as well.
That one I picked called Super Trio, I only played it for half an hour, and it looked really good. And
it was one of the worst games you ever played, sure.
And it was, the first level was really good. It was well laid out, but then it went downhill really quick, and it was broken, wasn't it? Sometimes it crashes. An arcade game that crashes is like
wrong.
It's Philistine, not Philistine. What's the word? Palestine.
No. Plasticine.
It's rubbish anyway.
Yeah, it's not very good. And that game was a
heresy. Not heresy.
That was a pooper of a game.
Can't Vic, I've got to think of this word. Not heresy. It doesn't matter. We can edit all this out.
You won't though.
No, I like it. Do you like it? Right. Why? This is what I think makes our podcast good. Better than everyone else's ever, apart from quite a lot of them.
Yeah.
Chemistry. You've got to have chemistry between the hosts or
sulfur. You need sulfur in a podcast.
Because if you don't like bounce off each other like a bouncy ball, you just it doesn't work. So you have to have like that kind of like I'm the really.
What's with the chopping business?
I'm the really funny one.
Are you doing your crap magic again?
Crap magic. I have to explain that.
You'll have to explain that in a little VT edit.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Like you I know your humour, you know my humour, so I make stuff that makes you want to hit me.
Yeah.
And you make
hence the hand.
And you make stuff that's quite clever, and I'm just going, what?
I wouldn't say that, Sean.
Okay.
I do get quite grumpy sometimes.
That's good. You're grumpy. I'm happy. It's like
Yeah, we need to do a role change.
A famous comedy duo that do that. What's one of them? Go on, you're good at thinking.
Laurel and Hardy.
Laurel and Hardy. Oh no, we're not. No,
I'm the grumpy, tubby one, and you're the skinny, daft one.
Yeah.
With a beard.
That's where the similarities end, though, because they were comedy geniuses.
But I think sometimes as well, it depends what game we've been playing. And sometimes when I've played a game and enjoyed it, I'll really enthuse about it and I'll get really into it. And it probably makes a better podcast. But when it's been a rubbish game, sometimes we have fun where we just take the mickey out of the game. And, you know, with Super Trio, it was the worst game we'd ever played. It was even worse than Peter Pack-Rat. And Peter Pack-Rat is a terrible, terrible game.
Volfied Kids was bad.
I really like Volfied.
No.
You, sir, are wrong on that
Volfied
case.
was bad.
Go and play Volfied. If you like games like Kicks, you'll love Volfied.
No,
it's really good.
The whole genre is twisted. I don't like it.
It's not twisted, it's very square. It's lines.
Lines.
Yeah, but we sometimes disagree on a game. Sometimes we really bond over a game. We love it.
That's where the fun is, when we disagree, isn't it?
Sometimes, yeah. I'm usually right and you're wrong.
No.
So, you know how it is.
No.
Swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, we've not done that one yet. Is that an arcade game? Could be, couldn't it?
I think so. Maybe you should write one.
Yeah.
So this month's game is Load Runner. Have you been enjoying that?
Sorry? I was thinking of a game featuring swings and roundabouts. There isn't one. We should make one. How about Mr. D's Wild Ride that had swings in it?
Yeah, but we didn't like that one.
Did it have roundabouts in?
No.
I'm worried now. We need to find a game with roundabouts in, Vic. Load Runner, yes, Load Runner is.
See what I have to work with.
Load Runner's alright. So far, I think it could be a pattern game.
I think it might be a 10 pence effect with me, that one.
Yeah,
let's find out soon.
You change your mind. Why did you call it 10 pence? What's the relevance of the 10 pence? That's a good question.
For people not in the UK, 10 pence is the coin we would use to play arcade games. Most games were 10 pence. I think in America they're usually 25 cents a quarter. In Japan it's 100 yen. But when we were kids it was 10 pence.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s. And now it's probably a quid a go, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the games, I'm going to have a moan about modern games. Like Mario Kart and Star Wars Battle Pod and Initial D and that. You play them and you win a race or you win a level.
Game
and
over.
It stops. Insert a pound to continue. But I've just won the level. But that's how these massive machines make money, and that's how the operators make money nowadays, because that's how it is. There's not a lot of video arcade games released, and the ones that are huge features that you can't get at home. That's how they're doing it. And they're either on-rail shooters, gun games. I've just said that, haven't I? Or racing games.
Or wallpapering game.
Wallpaper simulator.
No, I don't think that's the thing. But in our day, hundreds of years ago, you'd pay 10 pence to play a game and you'd stay on that game for quite a while if you were good at it. So you had to get good at games, or you choose a game you're really good at. And nowadays you just got to put more money in. I think because games now are easier to bring people in who are not good gamers, it's just a business thing. They make them easy, but then you just pay to play more and more. You could do that in the 90s, because a lot of games in the 90s were, if you lost a life or whatever, you could put more money in to continue the game. You wouldn't start back at square one. So they used to do that a lot. But if you were good at a game, you get your 10p's worth. And 10p back then was quite a lot of money for us kids, with £1 pocket money a week or whatever.
Yeah, you could have with £1. Within 10p, you could have like
10 games.
8. Is it 8?
Unless we lost 20p.
20p.
Or a bully came and took your money off you.
Yeah.
Harumph. Yeah, but that was the case back then. That's why the 10 pence business.
Yeah, I think we've covered everything there, kids. I'm bored now. Sorry, I'm bored. Are you bored?
I want bacon sandwiches. It is the morning, and I stayed here last night, and he hasn't fed me yet, kids.
You had a flat white from our bean to cup coffee machine.
You like that, don't
Gazier, bean to cup coffee machine. Buy it from. Can we be sponsored by Gazier?
I hope so. I'd like a coffee machine.
That would be great,
Quite
wouldn't
handy.
it?
Yeah, cool.
If you're listening, Gazier, which you're not, please can we have like a bean to cup coffee machine?
Yes, please.
I think that one's called an Espresso Avanti Deluxe vacuum
May I remind you, you're going off subject again.
video machine face. Oh no, not the blue hand.
The tiny hand.
The tiny blue hand.
I like your tiny hand. I might have to steal this.
No,
'Cause
you
it
can have it if you
doubles
want. I've got
as a
two.
scritchy scratch. Dog would like that. And also a footy thing where you put your shoes on with it.
Oh, is that what that's for?
Yeah. No, Sean. It's a soup spoon.
I thought that was to pick up Maltesers.
They roll off.
Yeah, so useless.
Oh God, you've infected me now.
Back scratching Maltesers. It's just not happening, is it, kids? Anyway, thank you for watching. Please listen to our podcast, the 10 Pence Arcade Podcast. It's the best podcast you've seen if you watch it at that time.
Thanks, kids.
Listen to it.
I'm very sorry.
Thank you. Bye.